Hello, my most amazing artists. How are you today? I hope that you said you are ready to create because so am I. I'm ready to dive right into today's video. So, today you had the option to choose your own adventure. You got to choose either how to draw a princess or a knight in shining armor. If you are on this video, that means that you wanted to learn how to draw a knight. So let's get started. What you're gonna need today is a piece of paper, some sort of drawing utensil, pencil, pen, marker, crayon, and some sort of colors, which again would be a colored pencil, crayon, markers, or even watercolor, because today that's what I'm going to be using. Like I said, you can use whatever you want, but for my drawing utensil, I'm going to be using a Sharpie because you need to use a permanent marker if you're going to use watercolor, because then the watercolor won't smear your outlines. Or you could use a crayon as well. That's also water resistant. So you're going to need a drawing utensil in some form of colors and, of course, a piece of paper. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get our materials. If you need to gather those right now, you can pause the video and go get what you need before we get started. So I'm going to start with my paper long ways. My paper is horizontal, just like in the example. In the example, you can see I used marker and a crayon, but like I said, I'm gonna use my Sharpie and watercolors today. I want to remind you that anytime during these videos, you can pause so that you can catch up with what we're working on, or you can rewind the video so you can rewatch parts that maybe confused you or you didn't quite hear. And that is the most wonderful part about our recorded lessons, is that you can make sure you are getting the instruction that you need to be successful. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get that paper out, the drawing utensil that you're going to use, and yes, let's get started. So in about the very center of our page, we're gonna put our finger in the very center. We're gonna do almost a full circle. It's kind of gonna look like a backwards C, just like that. And then to attach to it, we're gonna kind of do a diamond shape or like a sideways square or rectangle. So we're gonna start with some diagonal lines that come from that little C shape. And then we're gonna connect those diagonal lines. So it's creating like a diamond shape or a sideways triangle. We're gonna just draw some lines that don't quite touch the edge inside there. Then we're gonna draw one straight line coming from down the bottom, and we're gonna have an invisible line that goes behind this little shape and starts right back up there, just like that. So we have a line, and then we're going to do another straight line. It's kind of gonna look like a square when we're done. And then we're gonna do another straight line down, but that's it. We're gonna stop right there with that. Next, we're gonna draw a little rectangle in the center of this big square shape, just like that. And we're gonna draw some squiggly, fuzzy lines coming outside the top. That's the feather coming out of the knight's helmet. Okay, so next we are going to draw the shield. So we're gonna go to this line right here. We're gonna draw a swooping happy face. And another one, a swooping happy face, just like that. And they're gonna connect at the bottom at a point like this. That's our knight's shield. And on the inside, we're gonna add little circles outlining the inside of the shield, which would be representing like this, the bolts that would be keeping all the pieces of metal in place. So it was a strong shield to protect them against anything that was trying to hurt them. We're going to draw this line straight towards the shield. We're going to stop at the shield. And we're going to add another straight line down, another straight line to the side that goes straight up like that. We're going to do 2 parallel lines in the middle of this shape, which is pretty much an implied square. So 1 straight horizontal line, and parallel means another line right next to it like that. Next, we're going to draw our knight's feet. So we're just going to do a curved line down like that. Another curved line to the side. Curved line underneath. Curved line coming back. And we're going to repeat that again one more time for our back foot. Just like that. Next, we are going to draw our knight in shining armor holding his sword. So we're going to draw a diagonal line this way and a diagonal line this way. It's the arms, not quite parallel. They're kind of going towards each other. We're going to do a vertical line, straight line, connecting those right there. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to do a small line down. A line going out to the side. Remember that you can always pause and rewind if I'm moving too quickly in this video. And we're going to do another line straight up to the side, and then up to the side and down again. We're going to add a curved line right here with another curved line. That's the thumb. And then we're going to add some straight lines to represent the fingers of the hand. So it's holding on to that knight, or that holding on, the knight is holding on to their sword. So we're going to draw the bottom part of the sword just like that. And we're going to do a circle on the bottom of the sword. Then we're going to do a diagonal line right there, a diagonal line right there. It's going to be connected with this little curved line right there. Then in the middle of our sword, we are going to do a straight up and down line and 2 diagonals to the side. It kind of looks like a really big arrow. And then that line is going to come all the way back down to the base of the sword. And there we have our knight in shining armor. So basically at this point, you've created your own coloring page. You have lots of beautiful outlines that we worked hard on, and now you get to fill them in with whatever colors you want. Now I'm going to be using watercolor. Like I said, you can use any color that you would like. And you don't have to use the same colors that I use. Whether you're using crayons, markers, or colored pencils or watercolor, just because I paint something the color red doesn't mean you need to paint that part of your picture the color red. You can choose whatever colors that you want to use that makes your art piece unique and beautiful. So just keep that in mind as I'm picking my colors for my art piece, that you don't have to pick the same colors that I do, because it's your unique masterpiece and you are in charge of how it turns out. So I'm going to start out with mine, the color red. So if you're using watercolors, get those out. If you're using markers, crayons, colored pencils, or any other type of coloring material, get those out as well. I'm going to start with that big feather on the top. And I decided that I'm going to make that a red feather. So we are painting our red feather. I'm also going to have this part. This is kind of like the sleeve on the knight's arm. I'm going to make that part red. I'm also gonna have this stripe on the knight's armor, the color red. Part of the handle, the very bottom, I'm gonna have be red. And I think I'm gonna do the very outline part of the shield red too. Not the whole thing, just outlining it. And you can color yours in however you want. Doesn't have to look like mine. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with the color yellow. It's another color I'll be using. I'm gonna do this little rectangle at the top, yellow, kind of representing the gold parts of the knight's armor. That little part of the handle on the sword. And these little dots these little circles we did. I'm gonna do those gold as well, our yellow color. Next, I'm going to want to create a gray color. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to use black, but I'm gonna have to add a lot of water to it to make it a lighter gray color, because I don't want it to be all the way black. I want it to be a gray color. So I'm gonna start right here with the top part, the helmet part of our knight. That nice gray, kind of trying to make it look like a metal type color. Go, and remember, we're doing our best to try to color inside the lines. I'm gonna make the bottom a little bit darker of a gray, just so it's a little bit different than the helmet. Don't want it to be exactly the same. And then the sword is also made of metal, so we're gonna paint that part in gray as well. Wonderful. I'm gonna go ahead and do the shoes, actually, like boots, just a jet black, a dark black, because that's probably what color a knight's boots would be in medieval times. Awesome. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add some blue pigment to this gray color we have going on. I want it to be like a blue gray. And that's gonna be what I use for the shield. This pretty blue gray color. And again, you don't have to use the colors I'm using. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing in case you like it. But you could have your knight in shining armor have purple and green armor, and that's fine too, because it's your creative choice. And then I'm also going to paint this part of our knight's helmet. Wonderful. I love it. Our knight is complete. It's just time to do the background. So I'm going to do a basic background where I do some green for the grass. It's kind of light if you're having trouble seeing it. And some blue for the sky. Just really simple background. So I'm going to start by doing the green grass on the bottom that our knight is standing behind. But your background can be honestly whatever you want it to be. You could have a castle in the background, because we did learn how to draw castles this week. You could have just a plain color background. Could be whatever color you want. It's really up to you what you put behind your knight in shining armor. Wonderful. All right, time for the sky. Like I said, I'm just gonna do a simple blue sky with maybe some white spots left for the clouds. Making sure that I'm being careful to go around our edges of our line drawing. But I'm very happy with how our medieval knight in shining armor turned out. Can't wait to see how yours looks as well. All right, half the background. We got the other half to go. They're watercolors, but you may be using crayons, which a really cool technique for painting the background, for coloring in the background, if you're using crayons, is to peel the paper off the side of the crayon and use the side of the crayon instead of using the tip of the crayon, using the side of the crayon to color in your background. It does a really cool texture. I actually did that for the grass and for the sky in this drawing. It's just kind of light. I used a light color, so you might not be able to see it. But I think that's a really cool technique as well. I'm just finishing up the background. Taking my time to go around those lines, but even I make mistakes sometimes. It's not perfect. That's okay. We're not trying to be perfect. We're just doing our best. We're having fun, and we're working on our art skills by practicing, because practicing is the only way that we can get better at art. And that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna practice and do our best and have fun all the while doing it. Wonderful. That is our finished product for our knight. I love it. I like how I did two different styles. We have our painted one with the watercolors and our one with the crayons. They're both beautiful. They're both different. They're both unique. I'm sure all of your knights in shining armors are all so wonderful and unique as well. I hope that you guys had as much fun as I did, and I look forward to seeing you in our next art video lesson. Have a great rest of your day.